morning everyone, Maggie here, showing you how to use the double slider die. So here's how it works. Okay, and it's quite a simple mechanism. So when you get your dies, these will be in your sets. That's the main case, that's the two mats, they're both the same size, these dies, and then that's the backing. And then you have two circles here, one's 1 1/8 and one's 1 inch, so they can mat on top of each other. So what you will need to do is you will need to cut out one of these, one of these, one of these, one of these, and then your larger circle and whatever decorative paper you're going to use, cut that out in a smaller one. So here are what I have cut out. My two mats there, that there, a larger circle and a mat. Now there are score lines in there and I'm aware they're difficult to see, so if we take this out and remove it, so this one here, which is the backing one, is actually the score lines. I'm just going to zoom in a minute so you can see the score lines there. Okay, that's the score lines for that one. And then the other one, which is the main part, you can see the score lines are there. Right, so when you've cut them out, you need to fold your score lines. Now each score line, I showed before, has, let me find the thing, has a very small gap between, and both of those are score lines. So sometimes it's easier if you put a ruler along the edge just to work out where the fold is initially. You can bend it up slightly and then bend it back the other way, and then use your Teflon tool. So that's one, and then you've got exactly the same one again. So that's your next crease line there. So fold it up, use your Teflon tool for this just to get the basics, and then fold it back down again. And then you've got a really nice, small, crisp fold like that. So we'll do that for these ones here. So we'll find our score line and we're just going to bend up lightly like that, fold it over, use your multi-purpose tool, and go down. And then we're going to repeat again for the other fold, which is there. And you may decide you want to do this fold first and then the other one, it's entirely up to you. Just bend that up a little bit. And this card I'm using is 290. You might find it a bit easier to work with 240. I wouldn't go much lower than that because you do need quite a stiff card for the carrying when you're pulling it in the mechanism. So that's one there, and then we repeat for the other side. So that's one side done. So here we've got the same thing here. Find your score line, okay, I'm just checking that you can see it on the video. Hold that one, and then find your other score line, which is there. Just bring that up. Okay, and then you're going to do that one. Right, so now you will have a little score line there, a little score line there. Okay, so that's your first piece there, which is going to be your base carrier. At this point, if you wanted to cut circle edge. Pop this back, pop it back briefly into there like that. Mark where your centre point is just with a pencil, and then that is where you would then go in with your smaller size circle, line it up so you could cut a circle notch in there. You want the smaller one because obviously the bigger circle needs to be wider if you're cutting a mat to go on top, and that's how Kay did hers. So that's that piece here. Now you need to find your sliding mechanism. I'm just going to zoom out a bit. Now you need to sort your sliding mechanism. In your die set you will have got a long piece of polythene tubing. You need to cut it so that it goes around this piece and has a small overlap. This is a bit too big, my overlap here, but I'm going to trim it down to size. Before I do that I need to make it a single thickness, so I'm just going to pop it in my trimmer, and I'm literally going to trim just about 1/8 of an inch off each side, and you can pop this in your trimmer and it should cut straight through. Do the same thing here. Okay, and then you end up with 2 pieces. So I want you to use one for one card. So now you're going to, that's going to stick under there like that, so you want it to be on this one here that doesn't have the flap. You're going to pop it on, and then you're going to measure it so that it's literally just going to, if I just put a little mark so you can see the edge of the plastic, of the polythene. Okay, right, so that's the edge of the polythene. So what you're going to do is you're going to run it round. That's the, let's put the edge of the other polythene. That's the edge of the other polythene. Right, okay. So you're going to pop your polythene there, and you're going to run it round so that you are actually only going to have a small overlap about there. So I'm actually going to cut across there. I'm just going to make this straight first because I'm aware I haven't cut that straight. That's fine actually. Cut that one. And then we'll just trim this one. And I'm going to give myself a little bit more leeway just in case I haven't got the measurements right, because you can always trim it afterwards. Okay, so pop that on there. Pop that on there. Yeah, and I've got quite a nice overlap there. If I put the marker pen along there, you can see that's there, and that is the edge of that one there. So I've got, if I just zoom in for you, and you see the overlap there that I've got. That's what you're aiming for. So then you need to take your tape, and you need a double-sided tape, and obviously we're using our Crow tape, and you're going to put a line of tape along one edge like this. Now it's really important that you have no overlap of tape whatsoever from the edge of the polythene, so that has to be completely free each side of adhesive, and then just burnish that well. And you're going to pop this onto here, and you put that onto there, and you're going to stick that onto the polythene underneath. Now you can see I've still got a bit of a gap there. If you do it too tightly, the mechanism won't move around easily. So I will probably trim just a smidge off where I actually had my mark, because now I've stuck the tape I can see that I'm okay. Still go very slightly off it. Right. Seems a lot of faff, but once you get the hang of it, it's fine. Okay, so that's on there. and then that one is going to stick on top of there like that. So I'm going to peel the backing off the double-sided tape, making sure there's no tape sticking over either side, and then I'm going to line this up onto here, make sure it lines up nice and flat. Okay, so now that should be quite free moving. Okay, if it's not, you've got it too tight, but you don't want it to go all the way around, you only want it to go up and down, if that makes sense. Okay, and if you've got a little lip still overhanging, which I have, I don't know if you can see it, it's difficult to see, let's pop that back on, which I have here, you can always trim it, off. But basically, as you put your things on, you're going to test it to make sure it's still working fine. So that's that bit there. So as I have got a little bit of overlap, I'm going to just trim that off so it's not showing over the edge of the card, but that's still moving nice and freely. So your next thing is you're going to take your pieces of card and you're going to stick one at the top, see where your tape is there, on top there, like that. So you're going to take your double-sided tape, you're going to pop it on the top of the piece that's here, and again it's really important, don't have any adhesive overlapping because it will hinder your card moving, and if you're not sure, if you're worried about it, just give it a little extra trim, because if you have any adhesive there, once it's stuck it won't move freely. So that's your first one. Okay, so you're going to take this off and you're going to stick this one onto there, making sure that you've got a nice space either side. Then you're going to turn this over and you're going to put tape on the bottom here. So on the other side it's the opposite end, and it's exactly the same thing. You're going to put that on there. You're going to put that on there. Make sure you've not got any adhesive sticking over. Burnish it well. Peel that off. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing. Stick this one on here, like that. Okay, so the idea is that they will freely move like that. Okay, and you can see they're moving quite freely at the moment. So what you can do at this point is you can stick something on here if you want. You might decide you want to stick an image on afterwards. What have I cut? I have cut some pieces to stick on here. I actually cut them out of decorative paper, and I cut them out in order like this. So I'm not sure how well this will work, but this is just an experiment to see. And I've marked them top, middle, bottom, and the arrow's going down that way because that's where the bottom one is going to be. So I want to make sure when I pull them down, that is going to be my bottom card. And I just cut this out of the same, using the same die. So we're going to try this, pop this one on here. And again, I'm going to make sure I'm just on the edges. I've not got any adhesive anywhere else it's going to catch anything. So that's the bottom. So this one, when it comes out, you pull that down and push it up. This one will be the top. So that one I'm going to need to slide in under there like that. So I'm going to have to trim that one to fit, because that's the piece that's going to show there. So we'll just pop a little mark there and we'll trim across. And we'll just take our black pen just to run along the edge, just to get a bit of definition. Pop that there. Okay, so we can stick this one on. So that's going to be on there, like that. And this one, now you need to stick this, pop these down. This one needs to stick underneath the plastic there, so pop that on there, and you're going to sort of tuck it in under the plastic. Just hold it in place for a minute. Alright, just making sure that these will still move up and down. You haven't stuck them together. Yeah, they move quite smoothly. Okay, so just give that time to dry. I've used glue, but you could use double-sided tape, but I would probably use a thin one. And if you look, let me zoom in, if you look, right, how easy is it for you to see? Right, you can see there, that's where the plastic is, and that's where the edge of your fold over is. So you always want to make sure your plastic is narrower than that. We didn't actually put a notch in these bits because I found they kept catching. I know some dies do have the notches in, but I wasn't very happy with it. So that's that there. Okay, so that's had time to stick. So we'll pop that there. So the next thing you need to do is, obviously you need something at the back of this to stop it from catching. So this is your backing sheet, and again you have the same score lines here and here, here and here. So this one's scored here, and this time, this one, again make sure you've got the right way up. Right, that's the bottom. Okay, so this time, these two flaps tuck behind the plastic, the polythene on this side. So it will be there, and it will be there like that. So once they're stuck, again it should be a free movement. So we're just going to do that now. You might find it easier to do one side at a time, glue one side at a time. So pop that in, slide it underneath the polythene, just line it up with the edge, stick it down. That's it. Okay, just give it time. So that's that one, and then once that's stuck, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Give it a little bit more time to stick, I would probably, than I'm doing here, just so you know it's held firm. Okay, pop that one there, and then this one is going to tuck just underneath this side and line up as well. Okay, so give those time to stick. You can pop your tool between if you want, just to make sure. So push that under there. Now you need something to hold on to pull this out. Okay, so this is where you have your circle, which you can pop on. You can either have it behind or you can have it in front. I think I'll probably stick mine on the front, so I'll do that first. And you can cut another one out so that the back is covered as well behind. So we'll just pop this one on. I know I'm covering his boots, but we'll just put this on here like that, and then I'm going to pop another one onto here, but I want to see when it's folded in. Don't do that, come out. Right, when it's folded in, I want to make sure that I can see the word pull, so I'm just going to tuck that in there because I'm going to stamp. So that's my vision point there. So let's take that out now because that's got to, so I'm just doing that. Right, so let that stick. So this one, I know that's going up that way, so I'm just going to take my stamp. And these are our little teeny tiny stamps, which are brilliant for albums, journals, etc. All sorts of things like bits and pieces, lift, place your photo here. And they're tiny enough to fit with all the tabs and things like that we've done. So we'll just stamp that, and then this one's saying pull. So as always, just do a little test piece first, just to make sure you're happy with it. Yep, that's fine. We'll pop that on there, pop that down there, and that says pull. We'll give that time to dry. Just looking for a rubber. Take the pencil marks off. Okay, we'll pop that on there. Put this one on here. Just rub that pencil mark out. Okay, that's under there, so that's going to go. Oh, I've stuck that a bit skew with. Okay. So what I'll do, because I'm not happy with that, because I've done it skew with, you can take it off and do it again, but I've actually got a decorative one, so I'll just use this one instead for now, because that's going to wind me up. So we'll just pop that on there, like that, and we'll put a backing one on the back just to give it extra strength. And when you're making these, if you're going to use two different types of cardstock, two different weights, make sure that the bottom one is a bit heavier, because that's the one that goes in and out all the time there. So give that time. We'll take this tape off. I'll take this tape off here, and that's our soft pores orange tape, and that's been on for a few days, and it's just, you know, it hasn't damaged the papers at all. And then this one is going to stick in the middle. So you can pop that. So then you see, when you pull it open, you can see the rest of Father Christmas. So let's just show you how that works. So in it goes like that, and then pull it out, and you can see all Father Christmas there. You continue the page. But think about all the interactive things you can do with different stamps. I've done one in the past with Humpty Dumpty, so he's complete at the top, and then when you pull it out he's all in pieces at the bottom, which is a bit sad really. So that's that, like that. So that's a perfect unit on its own. But you can then, if you want to, stick it onto your page, just stick it firmly like that, and then it's there and it'll be good to go. So that's that one there. And I really would love to see everything that you make with these, and if you have any problems, give us a shout. Thanks very much.